making Jester's slippers. I've done such a good job of trimming off the ends, haven't I? Yes, now I'm using heat protector, which you get for tables, to line the bottom. I like this because it's got a grip. I'm using felt and I'm using fleece to line it. Now I've turned it all inside out, so there's a bit that doesn't match at the back, but yeah, so it's nice and comfy. Now these would be great for a stage show or fancy dress, or even St Patrick's Day if we go green, or Christmas maybe. Yeah, because there's a lot to be said for having a sneaky pair of slippers when you go to somebody's house for Christmas Day, because you might not get any. Or you might get 3 or 4 pairs, you never know. So, I'm going to start with the felt. Yes, this is pretty much the last of my red felt. When Christmas comes next year, which, well, this year, how many months away? I'll probably work it out in my head. 9 months away. I'm going to have to buy some more red felt, which is fine. Now this is the pattern I use for this one, and you are going to need a sewing machine. Well, I'm doing it on a sewing machine. Of course you can hand sew. I'm only going to do a running stitch, and then I'm going to do a zigzag stitch for the top, which obviously would look loads better hand sewn. And I am going to hand sew the bell because I don't know how to do that on a sewing machine. I don't know if you can, but I still don't know. You probably can. Probably need a specialist machine. So I'm just going to cut these out. Now obviously I am doing them opposite because I quite like the idea of Jester slippers. I think it works well with the bell, and yeah, I suppose for Mardi Gras you could go purple and green. But I'm just making use of what I've got. Now the nice thing about using felt and fleece for that matter, well, felt because it doesn't stretch, fleece does stretch, but they don't need hemming really, although I am hemming it. So I'm going to try and make use of most, you know, only just, how lucky am I? This is 1/4 metre I bought of green felt, and I think I do every year, you know, just in case. And I don't even know what I've used it for. Fred's costume. So I need that pattern for my fleece. And I'll need 2 of those for the fleece. Now I haven't even worked out how to do them, because I suppose I should get the red in the middle, shouldn't I? So that they're opposite. I think that would work best. Now I know I'm going to have to retrim this. There's no 2 ways about it. In fact, I'm literally trimming at every stage. I'm not worried about that. Oh yeah, pattern. Oh, I drawed round my foot. Sorry, I'm doing this in a really bad order, aren't I? Yeah, so I drawed around my foot, and then I gave myself a hem allowance, so in the red, and then I cut it out. But I'm not going to worry about my toes, and I'm not going to worry about my, well, collapsed bony bit. And I've already drawn it on here for the simple reason I don't want 2 left feet. So that's great. Cut round here. I do need another one of these in the fleece as well, and I need 2 of the sides. So, but I don't need the belly bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the fleece so that it hugs the foot, so I've got a bit of support. So if I am very clever, I can cut the base out here, fold that bit over, and then I can use that, and then I've used as much of the cloth as I can. So it's just a simple matter of cutting around this. I know I'm on the fold. I don't need it to be on the fold. And I am, oopsie, it's not helping, is it? And then that just needs to come round there. Lovely. And then this just needs to come round there. So, now I can see if I cut along those lines, the fleece is going to be bigger. So, I know I'm going to trim, and now I really know I'm going to trim. And this is the right way around. Yeah, just ignore me. I never used to have to stop and think, but nowadays I really, every now and again, I've just got to sort of mentally check everything. So, yes, did you know fleece is made out of recycled milk bottles? I know, how cool is that? Did you know felt is made out of squashed fibres? Okay, so this is just coming along here, and then I need to layer everything up so I can sew it all together. Now I am going to do it all in one go. I'm not going to use pins because I'm a bit of a rebel, don't really like pins, I'm a bit scared of them. And okay, so I've got all my pieces. And I'm going to line them all up. So we want this on the bottom because this is our grippy bit. We want this next to it so that we've got this lining in our little tootsies, keep our tootsies warm. And we've got to put it around that way because that side is the right side. And then we've got this, which is the foot, the side of the foot. So what I'm going to do is line this up to this, literally the base of the heel, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of a hem allowance, and then I'm going to sew and curve it all round. Okay, now this is the complicated bit. Yeah, okay, you see what I mean about stopping and thinking? So I want the green side on the opposite side. So I want to put the green fabric on the base, and I want to put it over so that I can then pull it over and all my seams are tucked in. And I want to use the green rather than the red so that they match up oppositely. Alright, now I'm going to put it all in the sewing machine. Now if you took the time to pin it, you would have to ease it round. It probably would be quite tricky. Now one thing I've done is I've made sure I've left a little hem allowance on the end of this green and a little hem allowance on the end of the fleece. So I'm literally going to let the machine take it, but I'm going to position it so it takes all of them. I'm pretty much coming up the straight of the foot. I don't know what that's called. And what I'm going to do when I finish sewing it is I'm going to literally turn it upside down, check my seams. I'm going to turn it, so now it's started to curl, I'm going to pull this over. And I'm going to pull that one over. I'll pull that one over. Yeah, because I'm going as close to the edge as I can, but I don't want to go off the edge, and if I miss a bit of fabric, then I want to come back and I want to check. Now like I said, the fleece stretches, but the felt doesn't. So keeping an eye on also when I come to the top of the foot, because I want it to be at the point, as it were. But this would be quite deceptive that I would quite happily carry on sewing round like that. So I'm just paying attention to it. You could mark it, or you know, pin it, or anything really. So Lovely. Couple more stitches. I'm going to reverse stitch as well. So that's that. Check our seams that we haven't fallen off anywhere. No, we seam okay. And we're just going to look inside. If I could see green felt, then I know I've done it slightly wrong. So that's good. And then we are going to literally, so that we make it as comfy as possible, I've got the red stitches there. And I'm literally just going to trim. Okay. Yeah, no qualms about that at all. So we're coming up to the red side. Now I need to make sure that I've got the heel and a little bit of seam allowance on the heel. The red side is going to fold over like that, so a little bit of seam allowance on the red side. I'm going to make sure the green is tucked well out of the way, and then I'm going to place it all underneath my sewing machine. Oh, and I'm going to hit the wrong button. And there we go, I can start sewing. Now, it's all a matter of turning. This thermal stuff, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? I'm suggesting that you use thermal insulating stuff for slippers, or just in case you have to go over something really hot. But it's I'll go back to where I was, sorry. Yeah, this thermal stuff is really easy to sew. The machine just literally slices through it, so it's got quite a rewarding thud as well. But if you can't get hold of it, then I suppose PVC. Or you could just use felt all the way, so it really depends how much wear you want out of them. Okay, so this is slightly easier to find the end of it because I can use the green one as a guide. Now same again, I'm going to trim it. While I'm trimming it, I'm just checking that I haven't missed the layer on the corner or anything like that. And while I'm trimming it, I'm making sure that I've got all my layers and nothing tucked up on the back. So that's great. Now, so that's where we're going. That's what we've got. What we now need to do is we now need to hem the lining and the outside, but we don't need to see those stitches. So we're going to literally manhandle them to the other side of the felt. This is why this design works so well. So we can leave this top strip open to do turning inside out. Lovely. So literally I'm forcing that round. I have no hesitation, no morals as they say. Okay, one thing I do want to do is I want to make sure that I don't stretch the fleece, but this will just all push round, and it's not going to stay folded long enough for it to crease or anything. I'm literally push it all in, pull it all about. Okay, so I've got the corner of the fleece. This is the corner that comes up here, and I'm going to sew all the way to the top line. I'm going to make sure that I haven't got the sole of the foot tucked in, because I'm making sure that I've got the sole of the foot tucked in so that I'm not sewing it, because that would literally mean I have to unpick it all. Now lovely, I'm giving it a good hearty tug because I'm quite close to the edge. There's a lot of material in this fold, but I think that it's well worth it. see I've literally just come off there. So I'm going to give it another go. Now the nice thing about this backing as well is I said that it gives a reassuring thud when you sew it. So I literally can tell that I am just sewing the felt and the lining. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the corner now. I'm going to give that another little go over because I can see that I've literally just fallen off. If your machine has a foot setting, then you either need it set to the middle or the furthest side that way. So this only has that side and the middle. So lovely. Now I know it doesn't look tidy, but nobody's going to see this, so let's turn it inside out. Let's respring it. It should just fall apart. There we are. So now we've got a nice bit of hemming there. And we have to do the same again. So we're going to push the red in and pull the white fleece lining and the green felt side round. Okay, this time I'm going to sew with a fleece on top. Just because that's going to be on the left hand side of the machine, it is easier to sew that side. But I can see that the fleece is slightly smaller on this side. So I'm always going to try and sew the smaller side, because it's like giving yourself a fighting chance. Now lovely, literally sewing and tucking as I go. It wasn't as hard on the other one. Lovely, so I just come off again. So I'm going to take it out, have another little look. Gives me a chance to check that I'm not catching the lining or any of the other cloth. Now you could do this by hand, you really could. There's no reason that you should struggle quite as much as me. Or we could adjust the pattern so that we give ourselves just a little bit more cloth. Bits that I do come off, I am going to just do by hand, because this is quite hard work, and sewing's supposed to be fun. Now what I also need to do is pop this through. Is I need to sew these two fleece bits together. Now what I want is for the inside of the slipper to be all soft and warm. So I want to do it on this side so that it's I haven't got any rough seams. So we are coming up towards the end now. All I've got left to do is I can do this bit on the sewing machine. I've got the heel to do. I've got the bell to do. don't know why I did that. There we are. So if I did this on the sewing machine, this is going to be 4 layers. So I'm not. Like, I know the sewing machine can handle it, but I just don't think it will look very neat. So, okay, that's the bit where I came off, so I know I need to do that by hand. And literally, I am now going to sew 4 zigzag. I'm not going to adjust my stitches, I know it'll be perfectly fine. I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to feel with my fingers, I'm pinching it out, and I'm going to sew down there. Okay. Now, rather than measure up the cloth, what I did there is I measured it to the centre of the foot. There is slightly a different size between this side and this side, but it's quite minute, and I really thought it wasn't worth mentioning whilst I was sewing or cutting out. So what I'm going to do is measure that to the stitches that I'd already done, and then I'm going to trim it. Now, I know it seems wrong, and it is literally not what we've been told to do. We're told to do a pattern and stick to the pattern, but I've got 3 different types of fabric here. So, lovely, and I'm going to sew up the top just to keep it together. Now, I didn't sew down this bit, I don't know why. So what I'm going to do is, rather than worry, I'm going to make them match. So on saying that, I am going to try and sew this together. I think it's a mistake. Well, I know it's a mistake because I actually tried to zigzag it before, and I'm having even trouble getting that in. So, no. Alrighty. So I've got a needle and thread here. Now, if you do manage to get it under your machine, you might need to tuck everything in. I am tucking it in. I meant to at the end. I'm going to put that elsewhere. Lovely. So I'm literally just picking up the sides, and then I'm going to pull them taut. As we know, why felt was so popular is because it actually grips the thread quite well. So I'll be able to just pull that tight there. And then a couple of stitches. And there we go. Yeah, I've still managed to push it whilst I sewed it, so keep that back. Isn't that terrible? Let's just take a moment to untuck that, so I'm sure it'll look better. And there we are, the bell. Now, I bought these from the craft shop. I think I paid 6p each, and I couldn't resist it, so I bought quite a few. Any excuse as far as I was concerned, any excuse to put a bell on something. And I think traditionally Jesters did have little bells on their slippers, bells on their toes. So lovely. Hopefully that will stay on just so I can show you them. And I do need to do that little hole. It was just I didn't give myself enough fabric. But it's best for me to find out so I can adjust it on the Facebook pattern. So there we are. 2 little slippers with lots and lots of thread on them. I hope this has been informative, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to get you to watch again. So thank you ever so much, and yes, have an early Christmas.